My name is Maddie Mingo. I'm originally from Omaha, Nebraska. I'm a senior in mechanical engineering at SDSU, and I'm also on the track team where I'm a high jumper.
Hi, I'm Rachel Zook. I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, and I'm a sophomore majoring in civil engineering.
My name is Megan Fiala. I'm from Miller, South Dakota. I'm going to be graduating in May 2021 here, and I'm a mechanical engineering major with a biomedical engineering minor.
My name is Ashley Jorgensen. I'm from Tomah, Wisconsin. I graduated in December of 2020 with a degree in mechanical engineering with a minor in biomedical engineering, and I am currently working on my PhD in mechanical engineering with a biomedical emphasis as well.
Hi, I'm Kristen Albrecht. I'm a math and data science double major with a minor in statistics, so I'm doing the data science specialization program. I am currently on my final semester of my undergrad, and I'm working on my master's right now too, doing the accelerated master's program.
Hi, my name is Sarah Broad, and I am originally from Lincoln, Nebraska, and I am currently a junior mechanical engineering major.
I remember in 8th grade, we had a project where our teachers asked us what we wanted to be when we grew up, and I thought it would be really cool to be either an architect or an engineer. I've always loved building with Legos and driving remote control cars, taking things apart and putting them back together again. So those sort of STEM career paths definitely seem to fit my interests.
Yeah, I think I kind of sort of have always had an interest in STEM ever since I was little. I remember one time in elementary school doing making a bridge out of popsicle sticks, and I absolutely loved it. And then kind of sort of throughout middle school and my early high school years, I just kind of sort of found math and science classes to be my favorite classes, the ones that I enjoyed going to the most. And so kind of sort of ever since I was little, it's been in my life, but definitely knew something STEM related was always what I wanted to do.
So I actually asked my mom about this to ask her when she noticed it, and she pretty much told me that I've always been interested in STEM. I always wanted to get the Lego sets, and I always wanted to go to the museum and look at the dinosaurs. And my parents are very STEM oriented. My mom was my high school science teacher, physics, chemistry, all that. And my dad was a computer science major here for a while. So they were always very encouraging of STEM. So I was always interested in it. It was something I always had a passion for. I would collect rocks all the time and try to identify them, and basically just building STEM was just always a part of my life. It was never something that was discouraged, I would say.
I've always been interested in the problem-solving aspect of things, always questioning why this might be happening or how this works, or just that kind of thing in general. And I also always really liked the aspect of helping people. Both my parents were in the medical field. My mom was a nurse, my dad was an EMT firefighter. So that was always a big portion of my life that I saw growing up. And I kind of realized around 7th, 8th grade that engineering was something that I was interested in, or just the STEM field in general. I really liked my math and science courses. And when I got to be about a freshman or sophomore in high school, my uncle gave me the opportunity to go tour his engineering firm in Wisconsin. It's a Phillips Medisize, so it's a plastics company. And they do biomedical type development of syringes and diabetes stuff, so things to help people.
I was first interested in STEM when growing up. I was never really liked it at all up until I got to high school, and I was taking just an Algebra 1, just a basic algebra course, and I had a teacher who just made math seem really easy and really simple and a lot more fun than what I ever thought it was. And I realized that I was actually pretty good at it, and because of that I got pretty interested in it.
I think I was really interested in STEM way back when, before I even knew what it was. As a kid, I was always wanting to take things apart and look at, machines, how does this work? And I loved going to my dad's work because he was an airframe mechanic, and seeing everything he did, and it always just really fascinated me. I was that weird kid that couldn't sit still and loved, building things with Legos. So I think it really did start when I was a kid, and I showed that interest, and my parents saw it. And instead of telling me hey, calm down, they really helped build that foundation for me of, oh, you find this interesting? okay, well, let's get you like little motors to play with and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's when I really became interested in it. It was when I was just, 7, 8.
I want to say it was about my junior year of high school that I learned of SDSU, and I knew that I wanted to find a school that had a strong mechanical engineering program as well as a strong track and field program because I was interested in both. And so I toured SDSU about that time with my family, and I just fell in love with the campus here. The faculty and staff, I could definitely tell, had my best intentions at heart and definitely wanted me to succeed in whatever I did. And so compared to the other schools that I had toured, SDSU definitely had more of a family feel, and I knew that this was the place that I wanted to be.
Yeah, so my mom actually went to school here at SDSU, so I've been rocking the Jackrabbit clothes ever since I was a little girl. I remember my mom coming up to campus and always getting new gear, and me and my sister were so excited for it. So I definitely knew when I was looking at schools, it was a school that I had to visit. I've visited actually a couple different times throughout my junior and senior year, and I just fell in love with the people, and especially the College of Engineering. Kind of sort of every time I came to campus, I loved the campus community. I just felt like people were really personal and cared about me and how I could succeed as a student and as a person, and that was something that I really valued. And then most importantly, the College of Engineering. It was really important for me not just to be a number within the College of Engineering, but to be a name. And after just meeting with different faculty within the civil engineering department, I knew that they were going to really help me achieve my goals, and SDSU was a place that I'd be able to get the education that I wanted so I'd become a valuable future engineer, but also really grow and evolve as a person.
So both my parents attended SDSU, and this is where they met, actually. So SDSU has kind of always been in my life, in the background anyway. And then I was in a few high school activities like FFA and different sports that would occasionally come to SDSU. And I was just always very impressed with the campus and how it was always changing, and the people were always very friendly. And so when I was doing my college tours, I booked one for the College of Engineering here. And the professors were really what hooked me to come to SDSU because they were very personable. They wanted to get to know me and what I wanted to do with engineering, which is something that I really value, is having that personal connection.
So I realized that STEM was definitely what I wanted to do. I just wasn't quite sure where I wanted to develop that into. I met a couple of pharmacists that came to SDSU, and that was something that I thought that I might be interested in just because it incorporates math and science and still the medical field, but not quite specifically a nurse, or it just wasn't what exactly I was passionate about when I was listening to what my mom did. So I job shadowed a couple of pharmacists, and both of them ironically had came to SDSU. So after about 10 college tours, I came here as my last one. I just hadn't felt like any of them were home yet, essentially. I came to SDSU and I fell in love with every part of it. I fell in love with being a little bit farther away from home and pushing myself to broaden myself out and just find new interests in a new place. And so as soon as I came here, I realized that this was the place that I wanted to come to college. And after about a semester of starting here at SDSU, actually after about 2 weeks of starting at SDSU, I just realized that I was pushing myself into a field that I was interested in but not passionate about. So I went back to that inkling of me being interested in engineering, and I had a couple of guys in my calc class that kind of pushed me into going to a couple of their classes and sitting around with them and talking about their field of engineering. So about 4 or 5 weeks into college, I decided to switch back to engineering, and I have really loved it ever since. It's not as intimidating as I realized with many guys. It actually, in somewhat, is a benefit, I guess, because I feel like professors know me a little bit better. I have a lot of guys that are super supportive, and it hasn't been near as intimidating as I figured that it would at the beginning. And it still incorporates my interest in helping people in the biomedical field, but keeps my passions of math and physics and problem solving and design, which I was really hoping to incorporate all in one.
Growing up in South Dakota, I've always known about SDSU and known what it is and stuff. And I think after touring different campuses, I realized that SDSU has one of the best math departments, at least around here. I love how you can like write on all the boards and write on the tables and the walls and all that stuff is really fun. And just like the facilities for the math department are just really nice, and I like all the teachers, and Dr. Cogswell is really great.
So when I went on that, that journey, your senior year of high school of, oh, you need to figure out what college you're going to go to, I was very stressed out until I came to SDSU. I had a family member tell me about it, and they were like, we keep seeing advertisements and stuff like that. You should definitely go and look at it. And the minute I walked into the engineering buildings, I knew. I was like, this is exactly where I want to go. I got to see all the hands-on applications I would learn and just got to peek into some classes and talk to some professors. And it was just such a welcoming environment. And especially with the price compared to some of the other schools in the area, it was a no-brainer for me. I knew immediately, this is it. This is where I should go. And it was a good choice for sure.
I would definitely say my robotics mentor and my physics teacher. In high school, I was part of the robotics club, and then SAME, which is Society of American Military Engineers Student Mentoring Program. But within both of those, I just fell in love with the projects that we worked with. So for robotics, we would have scene bots, which are little square robots that you would drive with PlayStation remotes. And I thought that was super fun to drive it around the school, and we would build scoops and arms to hook onto the top and take them to competitions where you would pick up ping pong balls and see how many you could collect, or you'd have to try to catch another robot and take it to a square. And so those sort of competitions I definitely enjoyed, and I was in robotics all throughout high school doing that. And as far as SAME, it was a year-long project that we would work on. And one I remember vividly, since I'm on the track team, it kind of stood out to me, but we designed an indoor track for our high school. And so we got to go through the whole process of designing it, what path we wanted to take it through the school, what materials you'd use for the track, how many people you expected to be up there, those sorts of things. So it was really fun to see like the designing and then how you'd go about building it.
My mom's actually a civil engineer, so I feel like I grew up hearing a lot about civil engineering, and that has always piqued my interest. I never did a bunch of different like engineering clubs and activities throughout my middle school and high school years, and sometimes I regret that, but I do always kind of sort of have that interest coming in from my mom and being able to kind of sort of keep engineering at like the forefront of my thoughts ever since I was little.
I would say the big thing that kind of kept me involved in STEM was a lot of like my family and then also my teachers from high school. I had a lot of influential women in my high school as teachers who would always encourage me to do what I wanted to do. They never like tried to say, well, maybe you should be in English or maybe you should go into a different field. It was always like, no, you can do this. We believe in you and we know that you can do this. If you want to do this, then go for it. So like my parents were always very encouraging. Those strong women in my life always told me to go for my dreams. And when I got to college then, those professors that I had talked to continued that. Like, you can do this. If you want to be an engineer, then be an engineer. Like, if you want to do it, then do it, basically. I never had that, like, influence of people trying to tell me that, no, you can't. And if there ever was someone like that, the other people in my life would quickly shut them down. Because I think in this era of STEM, it's highly encouraged to have that diversity, to have people follow their dreams into it.
I kind of fell away from that a little bit after that because I started in a couple of STEM classes in high school and they were mostly guys, and that was super intimidating with me. So I ended up not taking those courses, switching to another one, really delving into my chemistry and sciences and stuff like that. That was still interesting to me, but I still just felt like there was something missing. And by the time I became a junior or senior in high school, my physics teacher became someone that I was really close to, and he kind of pushed me into what my interests were and really questioning why I was doing the things that I was doing, and not just because I was scared about engineering or just being intimidated by like the development of classes or like the people around me in my classes. So he was one that really pushed me to tour some engineering schools to keep my interest in that.
Growing up, like I said, I never liked math, never liked science. I was never good at either of them. But then when I got to high school, I had a teacher, his name was Mr. Syme, and he, like I said, it just made me realize, wow, math isn't bad at all, and it's fun, and it's something that I enjoy. And so I started to kind of realize that, and so throughout high school, I was kind of thinking of, okay, well, what can I do related to that? And I think like most people when they're interested in math, just like go right to like engineering or teaching. But I knew that neither of those things are really for me. And so, going through high school, I just knew that I wanted to do something with math. And so then when I got to my senior year, I had a different teacher. Her name is Mrs. Kendall, and she was the AP Calc teacher at the time. And I mentioned to her that I'm interested in math, but I don't want to be an engineer and I don't want to be a teacher. So, what else is there for me? And she told me actuarial science. And so I was planning on being an actuary. And so when I first came to SDSU, that was my track. But then I took the mathematics profession course with Dr. Cogswell. And in that course, he basically explains to you what you can do with a math major and the different paths that you can take. And so he talked about data science, and I realized that was something that I would be more interested in than actuarial science.
Besides, my family and friends and stuff really pushing me to learn more, it was really just those math and science classes. I wanted to take those physics classes. I wanted to take, any math I could, all the way up to calculus, and all of the options that were there, I took. And I really enjoyed it and loved it. And it really kept my attention toward, STEM and engineering, because I kept that mathematical part of my mind going, and that was like, this is fun. I enjoy this. I love learning about, physics and chemistry and calculus and geometry and all of that stuff, as well as shop classes. I loved shop classes. I loved, the hands-on, and just staying engaged and stuff like that really helped me realize that a STEM major and doing that is what I should do in my future career and just goals. It all just fits so well.
If you're passionate about something, go for it and try new things. Don't be afraid of how a major sounds or what you've heard about a certain subject, because if there's something you really enjoy and you go for it, those things won't matter so much as the exciting challenge that you get to be a part of.
Do whatever you're passionate about. Find your passion and just chase after that and do what makes you happy. When you love math and science, you should never shy away from it because you're a female. You should be empowered to be a female in STEM. I absolutely love it. It's something that I will never regret doing, and just go for it because it'll be the best decision you ever make.
If you have a passion for something, do not let someone else get in the way of that. Don't let your fear get in the way of it, because it will get easier to go for your dreams. Every step you take in that direction of what you want to do will help you get to that goal. Even if you have setbacks, even if you have things like people telling you that you shouldn't do it, or you think I'm not smart enough, whatever. If you keep plugging away at it step by step every day, you will get there, because you can. You just have to believe in yourself and tell yourself every day, I can do this because it's what I want to do.
So there's a couple things. One would be that don't be intimidated by something that you're passionate about. Go and do it just for you. You're gonna want a career, you're gonna want a major that is something that you wanna do, because that's only gonna be what you're happy with. Don't do it because your parents necessarily told you to, or because you feel like that's gonna be where the money is at. Do it because you're passionate about it, because that's what you're gonna enjoy studying, and that's what you're gonna enjoy in your future career afterwards. The second piece of advice that I have is to job shadow someone that you might be thinking of in a prospective field, because it really helps you define what they do in an everyday setting. So maybe it's something that you're gonna really like, or maybe you realize that you like certain parts of it and then it kind of leads you into a different direction. But I job shadowed my mom's physician in when I was younger, and I kind of realized that day that when I was kind of watching this clinical pharmacist go around, that was actually something that looked more fun to me. So I guess my overall advice is just to get experience in the field the best that you can beforehand, and just make sure that it's what you really want to pursue overall.
I would tell them, yeah, if they're interested, to look into it and definitely think about all of their options. Like I mentioned, I think a lot of people who are interested in at least math just go right to engineering or teaching. And like I said, for me, that just wasn't something I knew I wanted. So I think it's really important to look into what you can do with a math degree, look it up online, Google it and stuff, and realize the different options and paths for you.
Keep dreaming big. Don't let people tether you down to earth. Go shoot for the moon. You're more strong than you ever know. And if you set your mind to something, you can do it. And don't let anyone tell you oh, I don't know if this is for you, because if you want to do it, it is for you. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise.